fact of life of GCMS spec is ultimately you will have to clean the mass spec source. The good news here is that we have put a lot of trouble and effort into making this previously arduous task about as easy and painless as it can possibly be. So I'm going to disassemble this source, show you the components that are required. I'm going to do it tools free, no special tools required. Put it back together and then reinstall it into the mass spec. So here we go, let's take it apart. Off comes the lens stack, retaining string, spring, another lens, ion volume. I will lower the connectors to the filament. All right, they're on a bit of a spring. Now I'm going to invert the source, and out will pour the repeller. It's ceramics and a little piece called the trap, which receives the filament current. Right, so now the thing is apart. Notice I took no tools whatsoever to do that. The parts, if required, well, presumably we'd be taking this apart because it's dirty, so we could either replace it with clean parts or actually clean these parts with some kind of abrasive cleaner. Right, so fast forward in your mind, now we have clean parts. I'm going to put the thing back together. There goes the little trap. There goes the repeller. It's ceramics. Ion volume. Bottom part of the lens stack. Got to have a lens stack. Little retaining spring, and then finally the top part of the lens stack right here. And this is really about the fussiest part that I have with this. There's a little fiduciary mark. You may not be able to see it on the camera, but there's a corresponding mark on the source as well. And I have to just kind of gently get it in there and line it up. All right, so that source is now reassembled. Simply pull the connectors up to make contact with the repeller and the filament. The time has come to take our clean source and now put it into our mass spec. Let me point out a couple of salient features, however. First of all, note that we have a little connector right here with the gold-plated plugs. These correspond to some pins inside the mass spec. Also, there's a little red dot right here. So if you can line up this red dot with this red dot right here, you can then put the mass spec in, source back into the mass spec, give it a little rotation, and boom. This source is now installed, it has made electrical contact, and the O-ring for the vacuum is in place. All I have to do now is start the vacuum pump, and I am back to work.